All right, this is from the Handel's Messiah Advent book. I am reading from the day 3 of week 1 of Advent called Finding the Perfect Gift. And I'm reading to Braden and Jacob. So I hope the family is enjoying this because we are enjoying Advent. And after this, we're going to read Luke chapter 1, and by the 24th, we will finish the entire book of Luke if you read one chapter a night. So finding the perfect gift, in whom Christ are hid all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge, based on Colossians 2, verse 3. Do you want wisdom and knowledge? Well, it's in Christ, so that's who you look to. All right, here is the reading. Gifts, presents, treasures. Get them or give them. Want them? Wait for them? Wonder about them or worry about them? Gifts seem to be what Christmas is all about. At the beginning of this century, William Sidney Porter wrote a story about Christmas presents, and he called it The Gift of the Magi. Just as he did for all his stories, he wrote it using the name O. Henry. The Gift of the Magi is one of the most popular of all Christmas stories, and it begins this way: $1.87. That was all, and 60 cents of it was in pennies. O. Henry's story is about Della, the woman who had $1.87. This was all of her Christmas money, all she had been able to save to buy a present for her husband, Jim. Jim's salary was $20 a week. Even in those days, there wasn't enough to have extra for gifts. Della had saved her pennies one by one out of grocery money. When Christmas Eve came, and with only $1.87 put aside to buy something for Jim, she wanted to cry. She couldn't buy something wonderful with just those few coins. Then Della remembered her treasure. It was one of the 2 treasures in that poor little family. Della's treasure was her long, brown, beautiful hair. Jim's treasure was a gold watch that had come down to him from his father and his grandfather. O. Henry wrote that Della and Jim were so proud of Jim's watch that they were sure that it was better than any of King Solomon's riches. They loved her hair so much that they felt like the Queen of Sheba would have been jealous of it. But because Della loved Jim more than she loved her hair, she sold it to a lady who made fancy wigs. Della got $20 for her hair, enough to buy the perfect gift for Jim, a long, lovely silver white chain to hold and show off his precious watch. Jim, too, had found the perfect gift for Della. O. Henry's story ends with Jim giving Della her Christmas present, a set of jeweled combs to hold up her long hair. Della had admired the combs in the shop window, but she didn't expect to own them someday. They were such expensive combs that Jim had to sell his watch to buy them for Della. So Della had her hair ornaments, but not the hair to put them in. And Jim had a lovely chain, but no watch to hang it on. Della and Jim, wrote O. Henry, were 2 foolish children who most unwisely sacrificed for each other the greatest treasures of their house. But, he continued, of all who give gifts, these 2 were the wisest. At Christmas time, we hear a lot about gifts of love, about using our hearts and our treasures wisely in order to find the right Christmas spirit. Perhaps that is why O. Henry's story is so popular. We admire Della and Jim's sacrifices. We know that the love they had for each other was more valuable than the expensive Christmas presents that they had bought. We realize that presents can get old and boring. Clothes wear out and gadgets break. But the love is the gift that really satisfies. I'll repeat that for Braden. Get your hand out of Jacob's belly button. We realize that presents can get old and boring. Clothes wear out, gadgets break, but love is the gift that really satisfies. Almost everyone wants to experience such peace and love at Christmas. But sometimes there's a difference between what we know and what we feel. We would like to have Della and Jim's wise Christmas spirit, but sometimes it just doesn't seem possible. Relatives or friends might drive us crazy. There are times we don't feel like being loving or lovable. There are times of sadness, even at Christmas. At times like this, we talk about the true meaning of Christmas. Let me repeat that. At times like this, the talk about the true meaning of Christmas seems a little unrealistic. At times, the presents gleaming bright and beautiful for us under the Christmas tree seem more attractive than the troublesome people or events that come our way. At Christmas and all year round, we need more than good intentions and happy thoughts. We need God's help. We need God's presence. We need wisdom to live rightly and love rightly. The beginning of the Bible's book of Proverbs tells us that God's wisdom brings life, joy, peace, safety, justice, righteousness, and faithfulness. His wisdom is the gift we all need and the gift we all want. It is the most perfect of Christmas gifts. In Christ, we find the wisdom we long for. His treasures alone bring real meaning to our Christmases and to our lives.